Chris, how is your pee break?
My pee break.
It might flash you.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal. Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday here at Talk to Me, Taylor. This is a very different kind of episode this evening. I've done maybe, I don't know, a handful of ones similar in that it is getting deep and we're going personal, i.e. an Aquarius bitch's nightmare, like vulnerability, no, death before dishonor. Okay, I'm nervous. My little heart's fluttering, under these bad boys. Let's put it this way, okay? I am here double fisting with coffee. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction Starbucks because that shit is not sponsored, nor did I get a bear cup, okay? And some bourbon and whiskey to calm my nerves. So cheers, low whiskey before we start. In all seriousness, and it all ties in together. And I'm really going to go somewhere in the end with all this. As you always, we got a plan. I am seeing, as I'm sure you are, and this isn't, by the way, just to calm myself from looking at this psychotic, ongoing, never-ending, and relentless news cycle. Well, sort of. But I'm seeing more and more just ruthlessness and hostility. And this is from anchors, it's from pundits, it's from influencers, it's from celebrities. And not only am I increasingly over it with these people and sick of it, quite frankly, but I actually just feel bad for them. And tonight I'm going to share, I've literally never spoken about this publicly. And funny enough, I was thinking about it this morning. I'm going to explain everything. A friend of mine planted the seed to even do this episode, and I've suppressed so much of this. Some of it literally came to me. It's all coming back like Celine fucking Dion, on the treadmill this morning, conceptualizing for the show. That's how much I buried half of this. But about my experience getting bullied pretty badly. I was like traumatized when I was growing up. And it's crazy because, like I said, I had already been kind of swirling around this concept in my head and doing this episode. And my friend said to me, like, you should really talk about this because you're a grown woman, but A, people would never know this, and B, the amount of people that would resonate and hopefully take something from. And, I feel so I'm glad because I can joke now and be like, it made me who I am. Like you are not resilient if you were not, ruthlessly bullied as a kid. But, seeing this in adult behavior now, that's becoming more and more normalized, and seeing it was almost, this sounds a little woo-woo, but I don't know. I felt like the algorithmic gods or not, the universe was like, you should do this because oddly enough, especially today, yesterday, I just saw story after story. I take everything in, absorb it all, think about what I want to talk to you all about, and just saw this theme over and over. And I thought, that's it. And how we can, detect it in adults and how we can or not internalize it. Because like I said, now it's just the everyday vernacular and it's really gross. So not only how you take it in, but also how you view these people and what's happening, right? Because it's all very toxic. It's very aggressive and combative, and it can be a lot. So I don't know, maybe this will help give some perspective. And this is not to say that telling these stories is self-indulgent, quite the opposite. I'm like, please don't make me do this, hence my whiskey. But apparently you all like personal. So before we get to that, though, some of these clips I've seen circulating, right, that perfectly go into this, and almost again like adult bullying, but that's common now and every day. So first things first is I saw, I'm sure you have as well by now, a clip or an interview with John Fetterman talking to CNN about how after his stroke, how he was suicidal. And he talks about, and not to bring politics into this, but he really says, and I've said this on the show before, how, he's with all different people from different walks of life, sides of, both sides of the aisle, and how particularly how it's really, really bad from the far left and extreme left. And he's like, I got it the worst on Blue Sky, right? And he talks about how people were just so evil. And he recounts saying things. I mean, it's harrowing. He talks about literally driving to the bridge where he contemplated jumping off, but just reflecting on their comments, right? How they were like, why, similar to what we saw with Charlie Kirk, people who were praising the bullet or dressed up mocking it for Halloween, like just so disturbed and disgusting. But how they said things like, why did the doctor have to save you from the stroke? Just go die. Like, I'm sugarcoating it. You get it. But we're taking in a lot of media, and that was something where I listened to it and it literally stopped me in my tracks. Like, it was so striking and poignant and sad. And he, as a grown man, recounting this. And obviously the internet makes it easier now. Like, when I get into my story, I don't even know how these kids do it. But again, this is as grown adults, right? I also saw one today of Billie Eilish talking about Elon Musk, okay? And she called him a fucking pathetic pussy bitch coward. Again, I have this in my notes, okay? Very important substantive stuff here. But again, fucking pathetic pussy bitch coward. Like, just why? Like, we know her angst, her teenage angst that she hasn't outgrown. In sidebar, she too has been super transparent about the depths of depression and how she's suffered that, and all of this. But like, we know she has a chip on her shoulder and an axe to grind with the billionaires, as she recently said. But like, what does this do? Like, why? What is literally the point? Again, it's just how it's been so sanitized and just like I said, normalized to just throw these words around that are so insulting. Again, what does that accomplish and just why? And truthfully, I didn't even finish reading what she was even saying about Elon Musk because I just lost it just lost all of its integrity. It's just like, why? Like, these are fighting words of 2-year-olds. The other one I saw is a clip, oddly enough, I saw it this morning, and I don't know how recent it is, but it was with Andrew. I think his name is, oh wait, no. Who's the Andrew on the Whatever podcast? I don't want to say Andrew Sullivan. That's the journalist who I love of the Weekly Dish. No. Who's the Andrew guys of the Whatever podcast when I was on that show? And unbeknownst to me, it was the dark corner of the web for incels. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Even after willingly flying out there to do the show, I just thought it was a debate show. And then I was on there like, what the fuck? But Andrew is their, like Brian, the main host, his like right hand, and he comes on and just basically tries to annihilate all these women and make them look stupid and put them down and all this. And lucky for me, what a treat. He was on my panel when I was on the Whatever podcast. So if you go back and watch, it was really funny because he and I were just like going at it back and forth. Andrew Wilson. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Yes, I knew it was an Andrew Sullivan. Andrew Wilson. Yes. Thank you, Pyramid 7. To where Brian had to be like, could you two stop? You're hijacking the show. Right. But again, I went into it blind, not knowing anything. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Like, okay, these dudes will debate. And little did I actually know. But I saw a clip this morning of Andrew going toe to toe with this lesbian woman. And she basically says that he's hypocritical because he's very, and I know I saw it and I debated it with him, but like patriarchal and how he thinks and, misogynistic and undertones of it and all this. And she calls him a hypocrite for basically preaching all these things of traditionalists and what's right and all that. Yet his wife has, 3 baby daddies, as she put it, and 2 ex-husbands and all this. but he goes at her in a way that is pretty vile. Again, the name calling. You're something like a term I hadn't even heard of, so derogatory, almost like a carpet muncher, but worse. Like, you're this or that. And then he goes on to say, like, literally, shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch. Don't talk about my, like, something so, again, like, abrasive and aggressive, and with the name calling. And she's so even keeled and calm. And she's like, listen, I'm just like, she's not name calling, no insults. And the way that he did that, you could watch it and think, oh, he's just defending his wife. If that's my husband or my boyfriend, I would be mortified and horrified. That's how you defend in honor, just like, again, below the belt, really insulting, derogatory. And again, guys, I'm sugarcoating it. Okay. I also saw, and this was really, really kind of disturbing to me. Again, the depths of X, like, you never know what you are going to get on there, truly. And it's so funny, by the way, because going through all of not me procrastinating, by the way, telling you all of this, not me procrastinating, telling my story. No, but in all honesty, laying out the breadcrumbs for you and giving you some context. But, the context in which we live in the coconut tree, like Kamala Harris once said, how could we forget? But X is so psychotic and off the rails that I literally now, for my mental sanity, because I bookmark a ton of stories and I choose the order in which, like, what platform am I going to read and watch first? And X, I'm like, how much mental wherewithal and stamina do I have for this shit? Like, am I Christy ready to flail in the box office or not? I don't even know. Like, am I ready to go in that ring? But I saw on X a video of this woman, and in her bio, it said like Palestinian, Italian, whatever. But she is just completely reaming out Ben Shapiro, and there is no substance or point to be had whatsoever. She's literally like, you faggot, you gay Jew, you this, you that, you fuck this. Like, it's so gross to me. I was so alarmed, and I'm not, obviously, like, I can take it, like, my shit is not for the faint of heart. But it's just like filth. It's just why. And these things garner hundreds of thousands of millions of views. And then, of course, lastly, before I kind of put a button on this, how could we forget? But even Candace Owens, right, with her low key, or as Nick Fuentes put it, low IQ anti-Semitism, and just this thing of, and this is not about Jew or woman. It's not about any of that. Again, look at the John Fetterman example, right? But even how Candace Owens will constantly throw Jews under the bus and then twist it and be like, oh, but they're always the victim. It's just perpetuating this cycle of, again, such toxicity and hostility. And today, or tonight, what I really want to peel back is, again, guys, how you take it in, but also bear in mind where they're coming from. And that's really, really important. And I'm going to get to that. But I also want to explain a little bit of my Chrissy Teigen story that you guys may know. And it was a huge inflection and turning point in my career and my public presence, because, I was fresh on the scene very early in my career. This was about 10 years ago, and Twitter was just kind of popping off. And I saw Chrissy Teigen, claiming she was being bullied, yet bullying just faceless people on the internet. And I called it out at the time, and I said, this is hypocritical. It's fueling the fire. If you feel like you're getting bullied, then do something about it. Have the conversation, or nip it in the bud, or take the high ground, or whatever it is, but you're doing the very thing. And as some of you may know, it became a national news story because she was not happy that I called her out. She was calling me out publicly, VH1 publicly. Allegedly, she called to have me fired. And I became the scapegoat, and it really came down to a decision. Everyone at the time, again, it was like cancel culture before its time. And people close to me and who worked with me, they said, Taylor, just keep your head down, delete your tweets with her. And by the way, what I said to her at the time, I was like, Chrissy, this is was before they had me take the tweets down. But I was like, we're all entitled to our opinion. It's just my opinion. Nothing of this sort, not the name calling, not the below the belt jabs, just very kind of like, I said what I said, and here's why. But I ended up leaving VH1, and my whole career, my red carpet career, my selfie stick site, it all like blossomed from there. And then a twist of events, as some of you may know, a couple years later, her bullying scandal came to light, right? When it was revealed that she was DMing people, some of note and notoriety, and some just random, like basically telling them to kill themselves, right? So I penned an op-ed in USA Today being like, A, told you so, was ahead of that one, but B, cancel culture and going around doesn't solve anything. Engage her in a dialogue. Chrissy, take up a dialogue, whatever. She didn't take my advice. But the seed of that story and why bullying itself was and still is so important to me. Because again, I saw it and I saw it's like you have, unfortunately, now it's like I said, just common practice and it's out the window. But as a public figure, I feel like you do have a responsibility to not be such a shitty example, especially if you're going to call out behavior like that. Now, I'm not the kind of person, I always hate it when people are like, Sabrina Carpenter or Ariana Grande, you have to set a better example for young girls. It's like, you don't have to go to their concerts. Like, they don't know you shit, right? But I just feel like on the whole, or just for morality or having a conscience, just why? You know, if you're a public figure, it's like, what is the kind of example that you want to set? And there are plenty of ways to make your point, to have an impact, to be of influence and not do this. Like, I don't know. I mean, again, this feels like kindergarten, right? To me. So the reason that I called that out and saw we're getting some comments here. The reason that I called it out in Chrissy 10 years ago, again, when I was a nobody writer, 24 years old, and risked everything, my reputation, my professional career. I thought my career was over. Was because I wouldn't back down, because I saw it. I saw the bullying and I experienced it firsthand. And like I said, it's something that I don't take lightly. And so, like I said, I kind of said this at the time. I wrote it for a reason. I stand by what I said. I said by what I said. I said what I said. The article wasn't nasty. And in fact, it actually gave some pointers or guidance or thoughts I had to do it in a healthy way that would actually be productive and to combat that bullying she said she was experiencing. Like, hey, Chrissy, try this, try this, try this. And so we all see where that went. Oh my God, you can tell I'm nervous talking about this because I don't know what's happening here. It's a little, maybe it's the whiskey. I don't know what's going on. Let's see Rob Nelson live in the comments. It's not even just off the scale name calling, wishing people's death for their children to be harmed. It's next level, 100%. And again, that's what we saw with, there's just no shame and there's just no moral compass at all. Again, whether it was Charlie Kirk being gruesomely, violently executed in front of us in such a gruesome way, or the John Fetterman thing. So you're exactly right, Rob. It's to the nth degree now. Okay, so now my personal story, not 17 minutes in. No. Okay. So yes. So a person very close to me, I was telling them this story of what I experienced. And like I said, they were like, you should talk about this on your show. And he also said that because, again, who knows? I hope some of you guys can relate or resonate. And even as adults, we'd like to think we put this stuff behind us, and yet here we are. But it was funny because he said that's not at all what I would have expected. In that I was at the brunt of so much traumatizing bullying. He didn't say it wasn't what he would expected, in that he thought I would participate in the bullying, but because for the most part, look, for all intents and purposes of like high school talk, I was quote unquote popular, well liked, all of that. And so in that regard, it's like, I thought you were like, the cool popular girl, which I was, but again, not to say that he thought like, oh, I thought you would have been the Regina George. I thought you would have been the bully. No, not at all. But just surprised that I'd be at the brunt of it. And I was. So again, you never know. And I guess that's what the bigger point of all this is you really don't know. So when I was there was little middle school stuff, whatever here, but what really strikes me and what I've really suppressed in like my nightmares, torture chamber of nightmares in my mind, was in high school. So just to paint a little bit of a picture for you, I was a little bit, I don't want to say a floater in that I didn't have an identity, but I just gelled and jived with totally different groups. I literally was on the varsity cheerleading team. I was in theater. I would hang out with like the skater kids, with the yearbook folk. Like I was all over. And again, it wasn't in that like annoying Peggy Sue way or whatever her character is in Grease, who's just annoying and like trying to be liked and trying to be up everyone's assholes. It wasn't like that at all. Cause I was still how I am now. Like, fuck right off. Like, you know what I mean? It's like what you see is what you get. But I just enjoyed, I don't know. I just enjoyed and, like I said, gelled with different kinds of people, which is crazy because before I knew it, it's like talk to me, Taylor, before I knew it, right? Like what I try to really do here is to hang out with, I guess virtually whatever, or come together with people from who are so different from different walks of life and have a good time and can agree and disagree or whatever, but talk to me, Taylor, like get to know them and still be cool at the end, right? So that idea, like bringing all different people into the fold and together and yeah, finding joy in that. So with that said, I had two different like core girl friend groups. And they knew each other, but they were kind of like different in their own little bubbles. And something happened. It was just like a civil war between, like, you thought the civil war between the conservatives right now, like the Ben Shapiros and the Tuckers of it all. Okay, that shit was nothing. This was like, it went down in Fairfield County 2008. Okay. And to this day, as a 34-year-old woman, I still don't even know what this was all over. My spidey senses, I speculate that lo and behold, high school shit, I think it was over a guy, but I'm not sure. I had this really kind of like toxic on and off, like codependent toxic on and off again friendship forever with this one woman or girl back then. And that was kind of like the crux of all of it. Like it was like the Galinda and the Alphaba that we never fucking saw coming. And I don't know, it sounds so petty and dumb in high school now. Again, I'm trying to give you some context to get to the root of it, like not like Kamala Harris. I think that she was upset because I ended up dating her ex, right? It's always like girl code, like not the ex, but the plot twist is she had moved on already with someone else who was his friend. So I'm thinking, sometimes I can think like a guy, fair enough. But I'm like, okay, it's fair game. Like she's moved on with his friend. All right, like gonna, date this guy. And all hell broke loose. I think that's what it was. Again, there are two sides to every story. So to this day, I don't even know their story. But it got really, really nasty. Whatever transpired, and truthfully, maybe I blocked some of it out because it was really bad. And the reason I set it up with the two respective groups of girlfriends is because both of them turned on me simultaneously. I remember one time we were at a party and it was almost like a scene out of a movie, but I walk in, it was like a house party, crowded, and I see her, my friend at the time, like the main one. She was like, this was like Romeo and Juliet, but in reverse and really fucked up and traumatizing for a high school girl. But she was on the top of the stairwell. And I'd walked in kind of like in the foyer, right? And she was just screaming at me in front of everybody. Like, everyone fucking hates you, da 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 da. Like, just honestly, guys, I probably blocked a lot of it out. And so it was really bad. Like, to be screamed at in public at a party with people everywhere. And she was on the top of the stairwell. I was at the bottom, on the main floor, just be screamed at like everyone hates you. And I was like, I don't even know what I did. And then it transpired into an actual like physical fight. Like I was so in survival, like fight or flight defense mode. And she came down the stairs and we were like literally pulling at each other's hair to where people had to break us up, right? And so, oh my God, Rob, I would die. Rob said it would be amazing to see you have some of them come on your show now to talk to you about it. Look, I'm 34. This has been years and I'm still nervous. Like, I don't know. It's like I said, I suppressed it, put it down, and that would be really intense. Like I said, I kind of like put it away and never look back. So that was like one thing, but also something that really is so vivid in my mind is how my house and my parents' house would essentially be like vandalized. So this is all kind of playing out at the same time, but it was maybe, I don't know, over the course of a period, right? Like junior, senior year. But people start, and again, I don't even know if it was these group of girls or not. I don't know. I still to this day don't know who did this, but people would come in the middle of the night and uh like fuck with our house. And it was really scary. There would be times when we would wake up in the morning or we would hear like ramblings in the middle of the night and we'd walk down or we would see in the first thing in the morning and there would be like our front door would be covered in like, I don't know, just shit, like not actual shit, not like a Billy Madison, but like mustard and like food and trash and all this stuff. And there were a couple times where my car was parked in the driveway and in the middle of the night, they would trash my car. Like I would wake up and they would put, oh my God, it's coming back to me now actually talking about it. And I know we're going to go a little bit over time due to the procrastination to get all this, but I would, come out and my car would be covered in like, you couldn't even see through the windshield or anything. It would be covered in like food and stuff. So bad at one point, my boyfriend's car, not that this guy, another one, his car was parked behind mine and his car was fine. And my car was like completely trashed. And there was also one time I just bringing it all back now and talking about it now, it jogged my memory. But I remember I was at the movies, AMC. How could we forget? What was AMC before AMC? Do you guys remember? And this is particularly scary because how did these people know where I was? But I came out of the movie and I put my windshield wipers on and it was all toothpaste. Like someone had put toothpaste all on my wipers. So I couldn't see anything. And I literally was like, it was really, targeted 100%. It was really scary because I was like, are they watching me and am I going to get in an accident? And I remember my boyfriend at the time was really funny. He's like, it's kind of like Smurf jizz, like trying to make me laugh. But, yeah, if you want chronological order, because I told this all kind of janky because it just my brain. This all that I'm describing happened first. Now that I'm thinking about it, my junior year. Because I had a boyfriend who was older than I was. He was a senior. And then the fight that I described first and all that fallout, that was later. That was my senior year. So it got so bad to where my dad, well, first of all, I'm mortified because it's scary. It's like a threat to my parents and my family. And again, I was a similar version of how I am now. Like was never malicious, was never a bully, was never like just kind of happy go lucky and like I said, I don't want to say life of the party, but wanted to know everyone and real. Like I wasn't fake and I wasn't, any of that. So I was like, what did I do? Like I felt so, and this isn't to be like, oh, we were a victim, whatever. It was real. It's what happened. But my dad ultimately he made these little like wooden panels with nails coming out of them and put them in our yard. And that way, if somebody was Lowe's, yes, Lowe's. Oh my God, before AMC, guys, thank you for the comments here. Yeah, girls are wild. Yeah, they're worse than guys. Yeah, 100%. And that's why even to this day, when people are like, girl power, women supporting women, like this is the kind of shit, even from childhood. Now, as you mature, it's more of the like mental warfare, but it's always there. The psychological warfare is always there, even on the battleground of my house in suburban Connecticut, where what I was saying was my dad built these little these wood kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. These wood panels with nails coming out. So eventually it got so bad. So if somebody ran in the yard in the middle of the night, it would hopefully catch them. Right. But it was really gnarly. Yeah. It was really bad. Girls don't fight. They just keep going at it. Yeah. But it got so bad so my senior year now, I know this is kind of like the unreliable narrator going back and forth, but I swear to God, this shit all happened. Okay. You can ask my parents. Now we're to the fight I described on the stairwell. It's my senior year. My older boyfriend was now in college and all that. And it got so bad. I felt so isolated and ganged up on that I was like borderline suicidal. I mean, like I was, but I wasn't. I had attempted like self-harm and quote unquote cutting, but it would be like with a piece of paper. But then I would call him. He was in college, and I would just explain why I was struggling and be like, I don't know, I don't want to do this anymore. I'd cut. But meanwhile, it was like a paper cut, right? But still, like that's how bad it was. I know this shit went down. Suburban Connecticut can get fucking, it can get ratchet. It can get really hardcore. And so, yeah, so it was really bad. And again, like I said, to this day, I've never really gotten resolution or closure. Some of them, funny, on one side of there were two girl groups. Like I said, some of them on, most of them on the one side we've all kind of reconciled, but I never truthfully, I don't think I have had the courage to like dive in with any of them about what actually happened, or if it was just I was a target, or what happened. I don't know. The next story I want to tell you, I know we're going to go over a little bit. This isn't like bullying per se. This is just more, I don't know if it again helps me in how I view people or the tribalism of it all. And why we do or act how we do, but either way, so that was the high school thing. Hang on, I want to get to some of these comments. My youngest went through this Pyramid 7. Yeah. Now I don't know, like if it were the world we're now with cyberbullying and all that, I don't know how I would have but like I said, it made it out. But you know, I feel like it kind of what I said in the intro. I can laugh now, but it truly did make me who I am. I feel like it kind of gives you, like I said, you get a thicker skin and this resilience, and especially because it's when it's unwarranted and you're like, what the fuck did I even do? I went to middle school, high school. Oh, New Haven. Okay. Cause CC said, oh, don't be throwing Connecticut under the bus now. I still have such a soft spot. I love it. I love Connecticut. I love New England. It's funny because I was the first to leave. And maybe this was part of it, truthfully, but I was like, adios, motherfucker. See you later. I went to college early, started in the workforce early, went out to LA to work. Like I was like, peace out. Who knows? Maybe this is why I was just ready to spread my wings and get the fuck out of there. It's always been there. It's just getting so much worse. And now you have full grown adults, political business leaders doing it as well. It's all out. Exactly. And that's where I'm going to get us to the end. And I appreciate you guys bearing through my ramblings here as I'm nervous. Okay. So this story, I don't even know maybe I'm psychoanalyzing myself here live on the air. I don't know. But so I went to Penn State. And same thing, was very outgoing. My claim to fame, like people may say, you're the celebrity whisperer. You're the only woman who did what you did in Playboy. Fuck all that, because I was a Penn State tour guide. Okay. That is like still my claim to fame as a grown adult. No, but I was involved with the big philanthropy there. Same thing as in high school. Like I loved being involved in different groups and what have you. When I first got there as a freshman, okay, I decided to rush to try to be in a sorority. Now, given who I am, even still now, that I hate being labeled, hate the tribalism, hate being in groups, like break me out of the box and resonate with people in different boxes. I hate it. Just felt so counterintuitive to who I am. But my roommate, who was like my ride or die at the time, we grew up together in Connecticut, she decided to do it. So I was like, fuck it. Again, even though internally it was contradictory to everything I was about, and I felt it at the time. Well, I went through the rush experience. And even then I was like, this is inhumane. I can't even imagine now where there are straight up Netflix documentaries over this, like how hardcore the sorority rush has been. But basically, if you don't know, you go and talk to these sororities, and then when you leave, they talk shit about you and write notes about you. And if they want you in your sorority. Okay. So for someone like me, a fucking nightmare. And I'm just reading some of your comments here. So, okay. And I like to think, again, I look much different now, but even then, like, again, every woman, good personality, cute girl next door. For whatever reason, all my friends were getting into the like cool hot sorority. I don't know how to put this, like, I don't know how to be ginger about this or be gentle about this. Basically, I kept getting recruited to like the reject sorority. Like I was like, what the fuck? And I don't mean that in a mean way. You know what it was? It was kind of like, and I just went through being myself, being like, what's up, everyone? I kept getting recruited to like the equivalent of the house bunny sorority, like the reject fucking, do you guys remember that movie? Okay, that was, I was like, what the fuck? Because what happens is it like dwindles down and it limits you, kind of like you start with the pool and then it's kind of like American Idol, like they start eliminating you. And so it started happening over and over. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? So I wish in hindsight, I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't evolved, but I wish I pulled an Anna Faris and straight up house bunny their asses, but I didn't know. Instead, I was like, what is happening? Like, what energy am I giving off? And it's nothing bad about these girls. I'm sure they were amazing, but I was like, I want to be in the hot, cool sorority, not like the reject loser sorority. Like, what the fuck? So my roommate ends up getting recruited to this like really cool one. And I'm like, what happened? I thought we said, we weren't going to do it. And, we were going to be in this together. So she ended up not going in it. Well, get a load of this. Okay. They do this thing, and I'm getting somewhere with this. I'm not just talking to talk. They do this thing. It's like after the main recruitment, when the school year starts, when the semester starts, and it's a little bit later in the semester. It's called a snap or something like that. But basically, it's like mini recruitments and you can give it another go. Okay. So I'm like, surely this time, I can like up my ranking here. But this is what's so fucked up. And I didn't even remember this story, guys, until, like I said, I was on the treadmill this morning thinking through this episode, which is literally just ramblings of a woman in Nashville on a Thursday. I couldn't believe I did this at the time, and I still can't believe I did it now. But I was like, maybe I'm being too nice to them, and they're not used to it. They're used to like the bitchy hot sorority girl. I don't know. So what I decided to do, not be mean to them, but when I would meet with them, I would just be a little bit more like reserved and to myself, and not be my kind of exuberant, like how I would normally be. Just a little bit, quieter, colder. And it was like work. It was like mental work. And I remember at the time thinking like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this isn't who you are. And for what? To be in a fucking cool sorority? Like, who gives a shit? You don't even give a shit about this. Even then, right? And I remember I actually went home and I would just cry. And I would be like, I can't believe that I just did that. Again, not that I was outwardly mean or cruel or malicious, but that I didn't give them the same energy or I don't know, just how I would normally be. And it was so not right. And it was so not okay. And I was just really ashamed. And even to this day, thinking about it, I'm still ashamed. Like, that's not who you are. And I can proudly say I never acted that way or did that again. But yeah. And it didn't even like, I was immediately just, felt shameful about that. And there was no point. Like, why? So all of that to say, hang on, I'm gonna catch up on some of these. New England is nice. The lack of real professional sports team made them bitter. My Pats are playing tonight, baby, in like an hour. You look good and always sound good. Oh, thank you, Abba. Oh my God, let me try that again. Yeah, exactly. Second time's a charm. So me revealing those stories that I'm sure there's so much more in my brain. I think those were half baked because I just wanted to spit them out. But it's kind of funny, right? The things as when you're young. And that's not even like on the trauma, by no means, by the way, trying to paint this as some like horror story and trauma or abuse or this or that. Like pales in comparison to other people's experiences. But it just goes to show how you internalize these experiences when you're younger and even as an adult. But I bring it back to the beginning and a lot of what you guys said in here and what Rob said. Again, not only did it really shape who I am, but seeing all of this play out as an adult is really sad. And it's sad because it's so combative. Again, it's so hostile. And yes, we see it from pundits and grifting talking heads and influencers. But guys, even to see it, I mean, think about it. It's become the status quo in news. The CNNs, the Fox News, like the MSNBCs, it's like they bring people on just to bully them and argue and shut them down. But it's the name calling for me that's really disgusting. And I guess I tell you all of this because now it's normal, and it's under what's really shameful about it is that it's under the guise of like politics and political commentary, but it's just so not okay. And I know on the show lately I've been joking a lot about little dick energy versus small dick energy, or I'm sorry, yeah, small dick energy versus big dick energy. And I can joke about it. And I think what's really underneath that, and you guys intuitively know this, right? Is that if you have to act in that way, if you have to do the, you know, insulting name calling, it makes me think A, you're just unintelligent and you can't use adult words to make your case or to prove your point. But further, who acts like that? A hurt person. Not only an insecure person or perhaps an unintelligent person, but a hurt person. Because why else would you need to? Why else would you need to? You know, if you're secure and you're confident, like it made me like really looking at all this today. And again, looking at the news and these conversations to be had, it makes me respect so much more the people who don't have to stoop to this level, who can still be irreverent and punchy and sassy and funny and get their point across in a strong way without this childish, again, just unintelligent babbling and nonsense. Like, there are ways to do it, and I know I'm repeating myself, but it's like you can't even find the grown-up words to make your case. So, I don't know, I guess that's a really long 40-minute way of saying, yes, we know hurt people, but I don't know, just to have a little separation, to not be bought into it. It's so easy for us to hop on. I know I do. I get fired up and feel my heart racing, whether it's like watching a video that riles me up or seeing people go at it or someone comes at me in the DMs or whatever it is. But to have arm's length and go, okay, is this literally just unintelligent at this point? But also I think it helps give a grain of salt and a little bit of separation to see where these people are coming from, right? Where these people, like, if they are doing that, it's like, do I want to listen to this person? Am I thinking more deeply or intelligently about this issue, about this thing? If they're talking about this, I don't care if it's Billie Eilish, I don't care if it's Candace Owens, I don't care who it is, to really kind of put in perspective where they're coming from. And if you want to be over it, or like I said in the beginning, or if you want to just flat out feel sorry for it, but don't let it become the norm anymore. Um, What kinds of names? I'm just really looking at these last things. Sassy and funny is always good. Some people really can't articulate exactly. Oh, this is one last comment, and then I am gonna hop because I'm well over my time. I don't think it's that they can't find the grown-up words. Everybody's dehumanizing everyone else. It's like we're in two firing squads at our very humanity. Yeah, that's a really good way to end this. And I guess all of this is to say, this sounds so Mr. Rogers with tits, but this is all to say, I guess I share these stories with you to find the human in everyone else and in yourself, because you listen to these people, and Rob is exactly right. We've dehumanized everybody. So to understand that behind every talking point, every whatever, it's like the humanity and the human in that person and in yourself as well, because we've really lost that. But now what's scary is it's permeated into real life, i.e., what happens with Charlie Kirk. And is that a course that we really want to be on? Again, just like whether it's your own story or bear in mind what someone else's maybe. They may be this tough bravado, whatever. You don't know. You don't know. We have no idea, like all these little intricacies and life experiences that inform somebody. I don't want to go because you guys are blowing up the comments. I love it. Some people are just born assholes. Yeah, exactly. That is true. That is true. And Pyramid 7, I've been talking about this on the show a lot lately, but I talked about it on my Monday night show. It's like picking our battles and not having, like, really fighting the fights that we want. And giving it our all, right? Because we can't right every wrong. And also, though, when we're seeing a pattern, it's like, again, are you going to be that example? Again, I don't care if you're user number 321 squared or if you're fucking Chrissy Teigen. It's like, are you going to be the example? And yeah, also knowing that some people are just assholes and that's really too bad for them. Appreciate your vulnerability. I came to pump the algo. I know you're the best. Mr. Rogers with tits always. Yes, I'm going to end it at that. Although I love all these comments. Keep them going actually in the comments. But thank you guys for listening. I hope it all made sense. And Abba, I don't like Chrissy Teigen. Abba, you'll have to rewind to the beginning there again. I was a little nervous, so I think I was a little janky telling that story, but that's all right. You guys get the essence of it. And I'm going to leave it on this Pyramid 7 comment. Won't you be my neighbor? I will happily be your neighbor any day of the week. Just do me a favor. I don't want to relive 2008. Don't egg my house. All right. Love you guys. Good night. See you next week. Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you.
Undetected.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
And I too am a thought criminal. Good, well I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
messing around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite.